Good morning and welcome to the studio. I'll grab myself a cup of coffee, light my candles, and sit down with my notebook today. I want to talk to you about so many things, but I'll focus on why we are unhappy when we fail at something. The reason why so many of us are unhappy when we fail is that we haven't seen the benefit or understood the power of the lesson learned through that thing that we call failure. Almost all of our projects could do with a lesson or two, and most of us never even plan out ahead, and certainly do not follow through all the time. I've seen this happen over and over in my creative journey. We want to create and draw and make art and sometimes have no clue where we're heading. I want to assure you today that every time I have taken action steps towards a bigger goal and a bigger project, the end result was much more than a success result. There was a certain gratification that cannot be measured in success. You see, the entire plan is your first thought. If you haven't thought things through and know what it is you want, then we tend to grab for those instant gratification pieces, the things we never consider and the goals we never set, just jumping in to do something. Yes, there are some of my projects that are ongoing, but that doesn't mean I'm wasting time getting them done. It simply means they are longer projects and will take a longer time to get. And then there are those carefully laid out action plans, and those are the ones that can come to the forefront and become the lessons of past failures. You see, because everything we have failed on or failed at has given us a pathway to a certain success. When we get to projects that we can complete quickly, we do get that repeated rhythm and structure, and those things are in place already, and that means that project will flow a little bit faster. Even today, while I do my morning writing session, I'm again reminded that all my successes was trickling with failures, and I only saw them as stepping stones across the river. We have to fail in order to succeed, and therein is the painful truth that no one wants to face. We look at failure as something bad or something that doesn't move us forward, when in actual fact each failure has brought us closer to our end result. By doing and completing projects, we do learn our lessons along the way. I guess it's our inner critic not allowing us to move past those failures. Sometimes we just have to close the critic's mouth and start again or try again. I believe we allow our egos to run the show, and when you create with your ego and a mindset that is less than willing to persevere and push through those failures, you might have lost already. We learn and continue to learn no matter what. Our unique learning abilities will always complement your frame of mind and bring you into the place where all your aspirations and beautiful dreams can come true. So what are you supposed to do when all of these things are painted and you realize that things didn't work out the way you wanted? Well, you sit down and you calm yourself and you allow the thoughts to come into your mind and roll over and away from you. Don't collect them and let them play games with each other. Those thoughts need to come and leave. A sure way for me to deal with those rambling thoughts is to get my notebook, and my early morning meditation or writing sessions are exactly what I use my notebook for. I take my notebook and sit down, write down everything that comes to my mind, all the ideas, all the words, all the images. And if you have a mathematical formula that wants to jump out on the page, or a scientific calculation, feel free to put that on your page as well. You need to get those thoughts and ideas out in front of you so that you can make sense of the chaos. If what you see looks organized and orderly at first, you have been using your analytical left brain to solve a creative problem, and you must step back and do it again tomorrow as early as you can. Why early? Because early means you didn't have enough time to fill your mind with email checking, social media comments, and outside stimulation that may hinder your natural thought process. It should be just you and your thoughts. I learned this technique from a book I read around 5 years ago, and to this day I have a daily session very early in the morning when everything is calm and where I have my own undivided attention. Up until the moment I need to put down my pen and follow my motherly tasks and duties for the day, I have time to put my rambling mind and chaotic thoughts onto paper. I'll write ugly, I'll make spelling mistakes, and I'll even proclaim ridiculous things, because these are not my masterpieces. The masterpieces come out when I've rid my mind of all the clutter. And today you may think that I have too much time and that I'm wasting my time. But this process took me just about as long as it took me to deliver this message. You see, while we are waiting for inspiration or creativity to come to us, we could have already organized the chaos in our minds. And quietly, with intention, you could have written down a few things. You could have let go of a few others. And you could have made room in your mind for inspiring words, inspiring ideas, and for the things that you want in life to come to the foreground and overshadow those messy ideas that became stuck in your mind. Before now, before the freshness has entered me and I have gotten rid of all the disgust that was in my head, I feel renewed and ready, and now I can begin to plan ahead. Get a real plan going, something I can follow step by step that will move me closer to my bigger dreams. Being flexible and creative are vital parts of our planning process, not only in the world that you live in, but also in the reality surrounding you. Sometimes we feel like our lives are getting away from us and we have no idea where we're heading, and that is only because we haven't figured out what it is we want, and we haven't figured out how to get there. I love problem solving, and I also love working in a reverse engineering scenario where I can have my end goal in mind and then work backwards to today so that I can analyze what I need to do to get to my goal. And some goals, like I've mentioned before, are short-term goals, and we can reach those easily. And our long-term goals need a little bit more introspection. We need a little bit more time, and we need a little more insight as to how we can go about with smaller steps to reach those goals. And what you do today is just another step closer towards your goal. If you're going to waste it by procrastination, worrying, watching too much TV, and not doing anything about it, you are going to wake up tomorrow morning and be exactly where you are today, and nothing will change. For you to reach your goals and to see a project through, you absolutely have to have a plan. I'm not saying all best laid plans are going to work out in the end, and you are going to experience failures along the way. And you must learn and move forward. I do one thing a day really, really good, something I can step back and look at and know that that thing was a success, and then I don't have to tinker on it tomorrow again. And that leaves room where I can start something tomorrow that will also move me closer. My list of 3 things a day comprise of something that moves my business forward, something I have done for the world or for others, and the other third is what I'm doing for me. I have learned a long time ago that if you neglect yourself, you cannot help anybody outside of you. And for that, you also need a little bit of flexibility and creative planning. And before this becomes too boring, I want you to understand or understand that everything you do is going to impact your future. I would rather be doing things that impacts my future in a way that moves me forward than doing something that will keep me stuck where I am today. As I close my eyes for a few seconds and allow the trickling thoughts to empty out of my head, to make room for those real magical thoughts to come in, I feel that my calmness and deep desire to create something beautiful today is going to happen, and today I'm going to have the best day ever. So I'm nearly finished here, and my next step would be to go outside and get some fresh air while I watch the sunrise.